What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to share with you how I lost more than 60 pounds. So anyway, I'm going to show you this first photo. So looking at me right here, I got a pretty decent amount of size, which I like that, but I'm definitely a bit on the chunkier side. Fast forward to just a little more than a year later, and I'm looking quite a bit trimmer, a lot better, a lot leaner. Double chin is gone, and I would say overall I like the way that my physique looks here. I definitely miss the size from the earlier photos, but I definitely like the way I look overall here better. So now I'm going to share with you how exactly I lost more than 60 pounds in just over a year later. Well, I went by a couple key principles. One was really to eat larger at the beginning of the day. And my first 3 meals, especially my first 2, were a lot bigger. And then as the day progresses on, I would shrink the meal size down more and more until I basically finished the night off with nothing more than a protein shake. Actually, I made protein pudding out of it, but I'll explain that later. And so then at the end of the night, you're just getting that protein. But anyway, my principles are, eat a lot at the beginning of the day because you're going to fuel your body for the rest of the day. And you're going to burn off most of those excess calories you take in. So live a little, and live a little large there them first couple meals, Take some enjoyment out of that time. And then as the day goes on and it gets later in the evening, the meals, they start to shrink. Lots of cat hair here on my shirt. Anyway, that's what pets do. They get fur on everything. But anyway, this is cheese, by the way. And I forgot what I was talking about. But that's okay, because we got time. Well, anyway, I'll just give you a sample of how the diet goes. So, I start off the day, and I go big, unless if I'm in a hurry, but I go big, and I usually eat 3, sometimes 4 eggs. I buy the jumbo ones. Make them over easy. I have 3 pieces of bacon. I dip in my eggs. And then I have 2 servings of oatmeal with, and that's the whole wheat oatmeal, by the way. And then I mix a little bit of milk in with that. And that's pretty much breakfast. And that satiates me. It's pretty filling, I would say, overall. And then if I'm in a hurry, I'll just have a bowl of cereal and a Greek yogurt, for breakfast. And that's my in a hurry meal. And that seems to do okay, That's usually like on workout days because I'll head to the gym right after my first meal because I work nights. And then my next meal, I get back from the gym, and that's when I usually go real heavy. And I have usually like 2 servings of rice, a serving of black beans, a serving of some kind of meat, and usually vegetables. And that ends up being a pretty big meal once it's mixed all together. Throw some soy sauce on that bad boy, and away we go. And then for my next meal, this is when I arrive at work. On my first break, I have a big ass sandwich. And I usually have whole wheat, 100% whole wheat bread, loaded up with a little more than a pound of meat, and usually topped with some kind of vegetables. Lately, I've been doing the garden vegetables because it's garden season, so, like cucumbers and tomatoes. I follow that up with my lunch break. I just have a snack. And I snack on some almonds, like a handful of almonds, and I have an apple. Then I have, for my next meal, my last break, I eat 16 wheat thin crackers, which is a serving. Usually a couple servings of cottage cheese or a can of tuna to go with that. I mix between the two depending on, how I'm feeling. If I get burned out on one or, want to eat the other. So, yeah, 16 wheat thin crackers and a couple servings of cottage cheese is a pretty good meal. That satiates me up till the end of the night, where I just have, I would say, either a serving and a half to 2 servings of casein protein. And that's what I take right before bed, and that's my final meal. And that's my entire day of eating. There's some small variations I use, but for the most part, I follow those guidelines and principles. I figure that, like all them extra calories I'm taking in at the beginning of the day, I'm going to burn all those off. So I'm not worried about eating an extra amount earlier in the day and concentrating on satiating myself and really, being full for the first part of the day so I can get through my workout, get started at work, that whole thing. I really believe it's important that you load yourself up at the beginning of the day and in them early meals. At the end of the night, and I don't know why, we're this way as humans, but we really like to just gorge at the end of the night. I do, and I know that other people do as well, want to just eat a ton right before bed. You just get so hungry at the end of the night, but really your body doesn't need it. If you think about it, you're just adding a bunch of extra calories in right before you go to bed, and your body's not doing anything to burn those off. So what's it's going to do? It's going to store it as fat, But that protein right before bed, especially the casein protein in particular, is very, very important. In fact, I think that's the number one most important meal of the day. Because they say that you do most of your muscle building at night when you're sleeping. That's when your muscles are repairing themselves and they're growing. So, what would be more important than taking in gobs of protein, throughout your day than right before bed? That would be the most important time to me, I would think. So that's what I do. I load up, at least 40 to 50 grams of protein right before bed, and then my body can chew on that all night while it's growing. That's perfect, but you don't need anything else. You certainly don't need any carbs when you're sleeping. So just, so I load up on that and, wake up and I'm just extremely swole. I get up and I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just kidding, of course. But, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Get up, big breakfast. Next meal's pretty big. Meal after that, nice big sandwich. And then the next 3 meals are relatively small, but still packed with loads of protein. And that is how I lost more than 60 pounds in just over a year. So if you have any diet questions, you can just put them in the comments below. We'll try to get some of them questions answered for you the best that I can. There's really just key principles that I go by to make it simple. I give you the basics is just to really eat heavier, lean, healthy foods, your proteins and carbs earlier in the day, and then finish, heavy with proteins, lower carbs, especially at the end of the night. It's extremely takes some getting used to, I guess. If you're not used to eating clean, that's the biggest thing, is breaking yourself of eating, stuff like fast food and sweets and all of that. But it takes maybe a couple weeks and then you get used to the diet. And, of course I switch things up a little bit, and, instead of having rice, one day I might do whole grain pasta, or I even have one meal where it's actually burritos, but I use lean ground beef and whole wheat tortilla shells. So I use that in place of my rice, black bean meat meal. Instead, I'll have like a burrito. So I mean, I do variations of everything to try to keep from getting bored of my diet, but for the most part, my diet is pretty much the same every day. It makes it easy for me. I don't have to, put a lot of thought or time into it. Another important part to my diet is just the meal prep. I don't cooking every day the healthy meal right before work is just so time consuming that I opt to do the whole cook on Saturday just to get ready for the week, and then I put like 5 meals in Tupperwares for my work week. So I get up and I'll make breakfast, or I'll do the cereal breakfast, but then I have my Tupperware meal ready to go for right before work, and that saves me a lot of time and effort, and so that really helps too. But yeah, overall it's worked great for me, and it's simple concepts. Just keep it simple, right? So yeah, hit me up if you have any more questions, and I'll try to do the best I can to answer them. I'm not claiming to be an expert by any means. I just know that this worked for me, and it'll likely work for you as well. All right, take care.